everyone, I'm Michael Cole, VP of Marketing at Everflow. Normally I don't introduce myself, but for this conversation, it's worth mentioning that when I first got started in this industry, I spent 5+ years at an affiliate management agency, and I personally launched programs for BigCommerce, ZipRecruiter, and Quest Nutrition. That experience matters for this conversation, as I know firsthand the realities of coupons and coupon affiliates and how much of a cornerstone they've been for traditional affiliate marketing. And especially why it's important to have a smart strategy for handling these types of relationships. Today, I'm joined by Alex Heckmann, who is co-founder and VP of sales at Clean.io. Just to get started, we're going to do some quick fire questions just to warm up everyone. So first off, what's the elevator pitch for Clean.io?
Yeah, so we're an engagement security company that works across media, telco, and e-commerce, basically to protect endpoint user experiences on consumer web.
And can you talk about the coupon side especially?
Yeah, so for Clean Cart, that business has been around, or that product line has been around about a year for us. And we're verifying and securing checkout pages primarily for Shopify merchants right now to prevent third-party extensions from being able to insert and hijack coupons as well as claim attribution for certain sales. So we're quietly in the background disarming them.
Yeah, and we'll dig into that a little bit later of how that actually works and everything else like that. So what is your daily focus at Clean.io?
Yeah, so as the VP of sales, I work with our sales organization and our channel partners and basically new distribution initiatives to bring our products to market. So I'm talking with some of the largest merchants in the world every day that we're work with now or that we're looking to work with, as well as different platforms who can integrate our solution. So working with the Shopify team to get distribution in their app store, working with BigCommerce to find a launch there, and then other companies that are involved in marketing in some capacity that would benefit from our data and our services complementing what they do.
Awesome. And how did you get involved with the industry?
So for the e-commerce business, it was actually sort of an accident. We had been running our script on about 7 million different websites from our core product line, which is securing like CNN and Barstool Sports from malicious ads that penetrate on their consumer side and interrupt the user experience. And our system started flagging third-party extensions in Chrome as an unauthorized injection. So when we started getting these reports from some of our customers saying like, hey, like we're flagging these extensions, do you know about them? What's the big deal? We started digging a little bit deeper, and the way that our system was actually detecting how they're scraping things off the page and then trying to claim attribution and a bunch of other things, we like basically thought that this was very similar to malware. And when we started talking to merchants, everyone told us like, we do not like these extensions. We don't like Honey. We don't like Capital One Shopping. Please help us. So we started to roll out this product line as a beta about 16 months ago now. And it just caught on like wildfire. Everyone has really been battling the same issues. And we've continued to build out the suite. So we stumbled into this space sort of by accident.
I mean, those are the best ones when you find a very real pain point and it's obvious it needs solving.
Yep. And we just had like a really good engineering team in place because we were running real-time security on page for about 7 million different websites. So we just had such a unique lens into web browser extensions and how they're operating at scale, what they're doing. And no one else really had that lens into the open web.
Cool. And what is one goal you want to achieve this year?
Yeah, so a goal that we're looking to achieve this year is we're going to roll out more tools for merchants to take control over what happens on their website. So it's not just stopping coupon extensions, but providing a lens into everything that's happening on your website that could be compromising a user session. So whether it's bot traffic, whether it's some sort of unauthorized injection that's trying to scrape a credit card information off the page, we want people to have full visibility to everything going on their website, not just coupon extensions.
Makes sense. So we'll hop into like the main discussion topic. So first off, the reality is that most of the top performing affiliates in traditional affiliate networks use coupons. Can you talk about what you've seen on that side?
Yeah, so coupons are actually like a really great way, especially for influencer affiliate marketing to validate attribution. like clicks and cookies are really struggling in the world of iOS 15. So the cleanest way to actually figure out, is someone driving a sale to my site, can oftentimes be some sort of a code. And up until the last few years, it used to be really easy to track and manage because there weren't third-party technology companies essentially taking advantage of, economies of scale, where if they're able to see a coupon in the wild, they can just scrape it into their database and then distribute it to hundreds of millions of shoppers, and in turn claim attribution for that code themselves and sort of bully their way into the room. So we're actually really bullish on influencer marketing and affiliate marketing in general, because it's the cleanest, most succinct way to identify if someone's campaigns are performing or not. It's just the now technology players in the space are convoluting the results and, really making it messier for people. But the number one thing I hear about from merchants, and I talk to founders of storefronts every single week, is that iOS 15 and the walled gardens have made it more and more expensive and more difficult to acquire customers over the last couple of years. So they're looking for alternative channels where they can actually validate who's driving performance. And we think influencer and affiliate marketing is the easiest and best way to do so. There's just, more guardrails that need to be in place now.
Definitely. It's just essential. And just to understand a little, or to explain a little bit about coupon websites and everything else, the traditional affiliate program, you're using last click attribution, which means that whoever the user clicked on last gets credit for driving that sale. And the reason that matters is that a typical user experience is that a user will go, they'll be shopping on your website, and right before they purchase, they'll see that little promo code box. They'll be like, oh, shoot, I don't have a code. They'll do a quick search, like just looking up your brand name plus coupons. All of those websites that pop up there, they're all traditional like coupon affiliates. You go there, or the user goes there, they grab that coupon code. If they use it, as soon as they get to that website, they usually fire off their tracking. So now they're removing credit from any other affiliate that was involved with it, because with last click attribution, last click gets credit, all the other affiliates are ignored. And on top of that, if you have other channels that drove that user originally to your website, now you have a conflict of who deserves credit between your other paid media channels and then now this coupon affiliate that's taking credit for it. Either way, they grab that coupon, they go, they purchase on your website. That affiliate is going to say that they drove that sale. So this really can create very unhealthy affiliate programs and influencer programs, because if all of your credit is going to these coupon websites, you're ignoring all of your other partnerships that were involved in this sales funnel. And it's one of the reasons why using a pure last click attribution method is really not recommended, because there are different cycles to the flow. Like influencers tend to be at the very top of funnel. Maybe someone wasn't even thinking about buying from you. They get to your website. They're not ready to buy, say, shoes right now, but they're in that investigation mode. Maybe they sign up for the membership to like learn about new discounts. Maybe they're checking out your blog. They're shopping, but they're not ready to buy. On the other hand, if you're grabbing a coupon last second, you're always in the final phase of buying. So it's going to look like that coupon website is driving the sale when really they're just at the end. So you want to balance that. From your side, what have you been hearing from customers about their experiences with coupon affiliates?
So we have a mixed bag. So there's some people that are really involved in like the data and, like you mentioned, the last click attribution and trying to really dig into who's driving what sale and how. And then we have other folks that like aren't as invested in it, and all they want to see is like, is money coming from this cycle or not? If you have a larger team, it's a lot easier to get involved in the weeds and validate like what's actually being successful than like, hey, is there just a bag of money coming from here? And most of our earlier customers were really invested in their attribution cycles and making sure that everything they were putting into place works. So they were more on the bleeding edge of like a lot of the affiliates and coupon sites and things that were going on. And they helped us really mold our product. So what I would say is, in terms of coupon sites right now and where people are seeing success or issues, it can depend. But I would say our more sophisticated customers that have like a more scaled out marketing team and an affiliate program that they're managing and have a bunch of channels that they're looking at, they are a big fan of figuring out custom programs with coupon sites more proactively than just letting their codes eventually leak out there and then trying to retroactively manage it. So they know the channels they want to be in, they know how to measure performance, and they know how to shut things down if they're not experiencing the success that they should be seeing.
Definitely. And I think it's important to mention that not coupon websites, there's a whole wide variation of different coupon websites, and some have high value and some have low value. So a high value coupon website would be something like a loyalty website, one that produces content, because in that situation, like the user is going to that website, they're just seeing what deals are available, and then they're going to shop based on that. They may not have been planning to buy from you. They were just like, okay, I need new shoes. They see a discount on their loyalty membership site. They get excited. They shop on your website. They purchase. That's a new user who is probably not going to buy from you. Extremely high value. Then, as mentioned, we have the second group, which is people that were about to buy from you and then grab the last second coupon. It's very low quality. Like, it's very unlikely they weren't going to buy. And especially if they're at the end, like they're not shopping anymore. All they are grabbing is that code. So that's low value. And then the third one, which is potentially the lowest value / shadiest, is these coupon extension websites. Can you talk about coupon extensions? What's the reality of that and why Clean Cart focused on that side?
Yeah, absolutely. So the two big ones in the space are now owned by financial services giants. It tells you like the scale they have and how important the data that they collect is. So PayPal bought Honey for $4 billion. Capital One bought what was WikiBuy and turned it into the Capital One shopping extension. And the two of them have about 80% of the extension market. They reach about 250 million shoppers every month now, and they have extremely high engagement. The reason why we really focused on them is because the way their extensions operate is actually the most nefarious. So when you sign up for Honey or Capital One shopping as a consumer, and they're awesome because they can get you things that you would normally have to spend quite a long time to find on your own out in the open web in the click of a button. So they already do all that homework for you based on the economies of scale. And the really fascinating part about Honey is one of the co-founders, Ryan, worked for like a huge ad tech company called OpenX as a product and security manager. So when he was building out this extension, it caught like wildfire because the way they actually get coupons and data into their extension is when you sign up for Honey, part of their terms of service is you basically cede your privacy rights to shopping online. So anytime you're on some sort of website and they see you enter a code. So let's say you legitimately received a code from an influencer. Let's call it Becky20. And she had a code for Super Coffee on her Instagram. And now you went to Super Coffee and manually typed in that code Becky20 as you're about to check out. And it gives you a 20% discount on your cart. Let's say the cart value is, $100. And then Becky gets some sort of affiliate fee or, influencer fee for using that code as well. And she gets $10. So you have $30 of customer acquisition there. You can validate and everything else. Now, the issue is if you had Honey installed, even if you didn't use Honey in that session, if they see you manually type in that code, what Honey will do is they will scrape that code into their database because they saw it get validated and used at checkout. And now they distribute it to their hundreds of millions of shoppers that are out there on the web. So now anyone that comes to supercoffee.com and goes to check out, Honey has Becky20 in their extension. And when they just run Honey, if Becky20 is the best code, it'll insert that code in the cart. You never even had to have seen her campaign, had any idea what she was doing. And now your attribution is a complete mess. You're still paying her out all of her fees. You're losing that margin. We see that when we block extensions from actually being able to insert codes, that customers actually convert at a higher rate because they check out much quicker. And it looks like there's less price volatility on the page, like where they're not going to be able to get more discounts. So the really big issue is that the way they're getting these codes is completely nefarious. And the value that they're adding at checkout page is absolutely zero. It's the equivalent if you were standing in line at Target and there was just some guy standing there being like, hey, I have an employee discount for you. Like before you pay, let me just plug it in. Target would never let that happen in their retail store. So why are merchants online allowing this to happen, this third party from giving away free money? And the way that they've continued to operate has only gotten more nefarious. So now on many websites, what we'll see is Honey will actually open up a micro tab in the background as it's going through, and they'll try and claim that last click from another tab as they're going through. And that's how they're bolstering their affiliate program, by saying they referred that traffic. And the things that they're doing just from like a technical and engineering standpoint were way more nefarious than leaking a coupon code on a website.
Yeah, and all of these things are completely disastrous in terms of your partner program, because any of these things are just completely messing up your attribution if you're not setting up protections. If you're working with Becky and you want to pay her on a performance basis, and that code is supposed to be the way that you're tracking her performance, which especially for social, where you can't easily link stuff, usually using the coupon is the best way to have them promote your brand. You may think that Becky is just killing it, setting hundreds of sales, but it's really just that coupon got either picked up by these extensions or submitted via user submission to any of the number of other coupon websites that allow user submissions. All those can mess up your attribution if you're not setting up protections like click to conversion time rules and things like that are evaluating a user who's shopping versus a user who's just completing purchase. And especially with these extensions, like everything that you're doing is now completely being thrown off. And you can just have like suddenly your user acquisition costs are like doubling because everyone's getting like, say, a friends and family coupon. They saw your paid ad, you paid a lot of money to get that user to your website. And then when they purchase, they get a 30% off discount on top because somewhere you've used like this special discount that was used a single time and then was scraped. It's very insidious towards not only your ability to grow your program, but also your ability to make any money. I know that from your side, you have some really shocking stats around this. Can you talk about sort of what you've seen in some of the comparison tests of blocking extension versus having the extension?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like one of the fallacies that's out there is that coupon extensions can really drive a lot of sales. Everyone assumes like Honey, PayPal, $4 billion company, they're not doing anything bad. They've got to be great. And like people are more likely to convert with the discount code in place than not. It couldn't be further from the truth. So typically we see during 50-50 split tests, which is what we run in free trials with people, when we're invalidating extensions on checkout pages, they have anywhere from a 1 to 5% increase in cart completion rate. So they're converting more carts. And then naturally, when you're blocking all of these coupons from being used, your AOV is going to skyrocket. So we typically see anywhere from a 10 to 30% increase in AOV, as well as the increase in cart completion versus when you're not blocking these extensions. And then the biggest thing these days is speed to checkout can oftentimes have like longer term impact on customer loyalty, repeat customer success. If you have a good checkout experience, it's super quick and easy to get through. People are going to more likely than not come back to shop with you versus buying on another channel. So one of the really interesting things is Honey and Capital One Shopping, when they're trying to go through all of these codes in real time and find who's the best and then go back and test another code, it can add up to a minute or 2 minutes to your like time to checkout. When we're blocking these extensions from being able to validate coupons real quickly, they're checking out at a far quicker rate than they would if they were sitting there waiting for all these extensions to go through. So from a user experience perspective as well, it's just night and day.
Yeah. I mean, we spent a lot of time. I mean, obviously, this is like giant nightmare for e-commerce companies. The fact that they're losing on money and their attribution is all messed up, like those are both terrifying. But I do want to stop for a second and just defend, as mentioned, like there are different types of coupon websites. And from our perspective, it's really easy to evaluate the two because it's basically like, so in our side, we use click to conversion as like our standard way to handle this. So that's literally the time from when the user clicked an ad, or with coupon websites, they fire off their tracking without asking. So when they get to the website and that tracking is fired, that becomes a click, and then how long it takes until someone purchases from the website. So this is our click to conversion time report. You can do automations around this. The reason I mention this is to us like the best way on our side to defend yourself against this, because if you're working with a coupon website and you're consistently seeing long click to conversion times, then that means that the user is finding that coupon, and then they're not just completing a purchase, they're not just at the final phase and using an extension to get it, they're getting that coupon and then they're shopping, like they're taking time on your website. And the easiest way, and then the opposite of this is they're purchasing within like 30 seconds of the click to conversion time, which you know is impossible to do if you're getting to a store. Like you can't shop, finish all of the purchase process and buy within 30 seconds. The only way that happens is if you were almost ready to buy and then you got that coupon through any of those means. So on our side, that's how we recommend distinguishing them. And it's just important to mention because, again, if it's a loyalty website where they wanted to buy your broad brand of products, say shoes, computers, etc., but they hadn't chose which vendor to buy from or whether to buy today versus 3 months from now, in that case, like the coupon is adding a ton of value. All of these things that are these defenses, this is for the other side of it, where they're, as you said, they're at Home Depot in the shopping cart line as you're purchasing, just handing out a friends and family discount. And those are obviously low value. And as you mentioned, like many people make arguments for why they add value, but your statistics have shown in these 50-50 tests that that is completely inaccurate. And the value you're losing is way more than the value you're gaining. Any other thoughts you have on that?
Yeah, I mean, so we also co-sign exactly what you're saying. Like coupon sites are not typically nefarious. The extensions, which sites actually like merchants have no control over whatsoever, are really the only things that we're interfering with from playing around. So when we talk about speed to checkout, it has nothing to do with the coupon sites because you guys actually aren't on the checkout pages tinkering with that experience. That's just a user actually leaving your site to go check for something else and then coming right back. These extensions are doing something totally different. So we're all for coupon sites. We're not for people adding like 60 seconds of technical latency onto your checkout page without your permission.
And kind of on that, can I just not work with Honey and Capital One and be fine? Like, do I need to worry about this if I'm not working with them as my affiliates?
Yes, 100%. Because what'll happen is they'll start to, and this is how most of our merchants find us. They'll be giving out, affiliate codes, and then all of a sudden, one of these extensions will pick it up, and the usage skyrockets, and they're paying out so much in fees every month. They're losing a ton of AOV. Their card completion rates are dropping, and what'll happen is they'll say, okay, like what's going on? We need to figure this out. Oftentimes they'll reach out to one of the extensions like Honey or Capital One Shopping and say, hey, you're indexing these codes. They're not yours. Can you please stop indexing them? And what'll happen is they'll get held hostage. So Honey will say, sure, we'll stop indexing all the other codes, but we want our own code then. So give us a discount and we'll get rid of all your other codes. And then they're just going to prioritize their code, whether it's best for the shopper or not, on every single checkout. And the reality is, if you're already at the checkout page, ready to pay full price, and your last like throw at the roulette table is clicking an extension to see if there's a discount, you're not driving any incremental sales or helping that sales process in any which way. So for them to sit there and just harvest all these other people's codes, or they then hold you hostage for their own, isn't helping in any capacity. So merchants should be really aware, and that's our biggest educational curve is, hey, look at all these codes that they have been indexing and using, and look how many times they've used them. And that's why we run free trials with everyone, to show them like, hey, Capital One Shopping on 3,000 carts in the last 2 weeks, use the code Becky20. That's completely unfair for everyone involved besides the endpoint customer that got like free money on their checkout. But we've shown through data that they would have checked out anyways. So merchants should absolutely be aware and be checking like where their code's leaking. And then rather than giving in and giving them an affiliate fee, they should just take control over what's happening on their website and run a split test and see what's going on.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It also says that this is completely outside of affiliate programs at this point, because it doesn't really matter for if you have an affiliate program, it matters because they could be stealing attribution from your other affiliates, but regardless, they're still like ruining your cart sizes, ruining your experience, and holding you hostage. So no matter what, you need to investigate whether this has a material impact on your program. Do you have any other best practices that you've been seeing with your customers and stuff that you would recommend them implementing on top of these extension defenses?
Yeah, run speed tests on your sites is like another big thing. And for me, at least, and our perspective internally, like there are public playbooks out there on like how to successfully keep customers in your ecosystem, attract them to your ecosystem, and have them coming back. And everyone kind of loves to say Amazon is a bully in the room, but the reality is they always do right by the customer, and they have a really good affiliate program that has been super successful for their business. And just copy what they're doing. It's not, there's no sort of secret sauce. They're very public about all the things they do to attract and retain customers. So keep tabs on what's going on your site. And Amazon was the first person to declare war with Honey. They internally saw what Honey was doing and how they were picking up affiliate fees, ruining AOV, ruining their site speed. And they went to war and they built their own solution to shut down Honey and Capital One Shopping. And they publicly came out, and the verbiage I believe they used is Honey is malware. So if they're coming out and saying, hey, this is really bad for e-commerce, it's probably true. Like, is it self-serving? Yes. But are they right on a lot of things in e-commerce? Boy, it's hard to say that they're not.
Yeah, definitely. And based on your data, can you share some stats you have on like the financial impact that you're seeing?
Yeah, so we have merchants on average, like I said, in terms of revenue recovered, I can't share specifics for merchants. Besides, we have a merchant that does 9 figures in annual sales on Shopify. They have a heavy affiliate program. They do a heavy influencer program. By blocking extensions in the last 12 months, they recovered just shy of $1 million. That was basically pure margin in the last 12 months. And they pay us $8.99 a month to recover all that revenue. So it was like the easiest night and day story of all time. And our average merchant sees around a 12x return on spend with us. So if you're spending, $6.99 a month, the recovery from blocking those coupons, not factoring in affiliate fees and not factoring in increase in cart completion rate, just the pure margin that they've recovered is a 12x return on investment.
So like about 10K or something would be what to expect.
Yep. So you're making 6 figures back all the time. And like I said, we do have merchants that are way above that. So we have merchants that are recovering $30, $40, $50, $60,000 a month. And not just a handful of them.
It's insane. That just says how bad a problem is. That all these e-commerce brands have built their entire business not knowing that they were missing out on maybe $1 million. That your margins skyrocket with that.
Yeah, and margins in e-commerce are getting tighter and tighter anyways. So it's becoming like in terms of a net, we're seeing more businesses dip below 10% in terms of like their net profit. So when you're boosting AOV by 10, 20%, that's your R&D budget. That's like your customer acquisition budget. Like that's all margin that's going to continue your growth that you're giving away that you don't need to.
Cool. And there's a question from the audience. Does Clean.io help with removing previous codes that may have been added to these coupon websites?
So we don't remove them. Basically what we're doing, and we're not interfering with coupon websites like Retail Me Not. We're looking at programs right now. And like I said, I want people to be able to secure their entire user journey experience. So we're looking at ways to invalidate codes for sessions that came from certain sites that you don't want as a referrer. So if you didn't want a code up on a certain site, if a user clicks through on that site where they found a coupon code or that was their last touch, we can basically shut down any code from being used during that session. But where we focus right now and where our current product line sits is making sure that if a code that is out there that's not supposed to be out there gets sucked up in an extension, the extension will not be able to insert it and validate it on any checkout. So whether it's a code that should be out there or shouldn't be out there, if it comes from an extension, the extension will not have success inserting it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really helpful. And yeah, like I said, so from our perspective, that like on top of this, you extensions, I mean, clearly this is the worst one, because regardless of whether you're working with them, they're causing a huge amount of problems. But then you have the second side of anytime you're using coupons for attribution, you need to have some sort of way to measure the conversions that come from those coupons, so you can evaluate whether they are coming from the correct source or they're just showing up on a user-generated site. So having things like click to conversion time, where you can evaluate, is at least this coupon leading to a user who's actually shopping and engaging with your website? Like, that makes a big difference, because if you're working with an influencer, all of their users should be shopping your website before they purchase. They're rarely gonna just last second go back to that influencer. They're gonna grab that code, shop, and then put in that code. So evaluating the different click to conversion times makes a big difference here. Setting up rules around if there's certain referral URLs or stuff that are coming through, you can block those. There's lots of stuff you can do here. And then the other major thing is just, for all of your traffic, you should always be measuring past the purchase. So if you're an e-commerce brand, purchases are nice, but you're missing a huge piece of the puzzle if you're just looking at purchases. You really want to see all of the other engagement events that show that users are actually interested in your product. So engagement events like visiting certain pages of your website, checking the sales page, signing up for that 10% off your next purchase, email membership, and then things like if they purchase, if you're doing upsells, subscriptions, all these things that give you a full picture of how users engage with your website makes a huge difference. So you don't want to just look at the purchase, because as mentioned before, the reason these coupon affiliates have become so widespread is that they are very end of funnel. Last thing you do before you purchase, you grab a coupon code or you use the extension, you purchase at that point. They're at the very bottom, but you have so many more partners that can be adding value and can be driving users that purchase from you either today or in the future. From influencers that might be the first time that that user has ever heard of your brand or thought about buying from you, to content review websites where they're starting to evaluate your product, but they're not ready to buy, all the way to these final ones of the purchasing. And you need to make sure that you're seeing that all the traffic you're receiving from all of these different partners, that you're looking at that full engagement to understand, okay, influencer, maybe 4 sales a month, but their users are engaging a ton. I still consider that partner to be extremely valuable, and I want to figure out how I can pay them more, or maybe I pay them for some of those engagements, because I still want all the traffic they'll ever send me. Then for coupon websites, if they're not driving any engagement, or the other type of fraud that's common is like using incentives where they're actually paying people to purchase on your website, those are going to have super low engagement, and that's a very low value user, and you should either be paying them less or you should be turning off those placements. You want to control around that. So there's a lot to coupon strategy, and clearly, I mean, based on your data and the fact that people can do this 50-50 split test, that this is something that everyone should at least be testing, because I mean, if you're losing like so much of your margin to something outside your control, like you have to take actions to that.
100%. And the other big indicator of like how successful your programs and how healthy is your business is like if you're acquiring customers through some sort of affiliate or influencer channel, like analyze the CAC to LTV ratio of those customers. If you're only getting one purchase customers from those folks, like maybe that's not the right acquisition channel for you because the product isn't sticking with those customers. Mm-hmm. So that's like the number one way to tell, is your product sticking with customers and are you acquiring the right customers? What's your CAC to LTV ratio? It's so simple.
Yeah, although I will say like the difficulty of that is you also need to be using different attribution methods. So as mentioned, all those top of funnel ones, you really should have them on first click attribution. So the idea is that if someone buys within, say, the next 7 or 30 days, that influencer or content website gets credit, because you can get really thrown off by thinking that looking at the lifetime value of customers, well, maybe the lifetime value of this influencer is good, but they've only sent one sale, and then this coupon website sent 10,000 sales. You would think, okay, I'm just going to focus on making these coupon websites more successful or figure out how to balance that out. But really, it's just because there's lots more sales that that influencer was driving that were just showing up as driven by that last click from the affiliate. So attribution is a very key piece to have a strategy around, on top of looking at things like LTV and CAC and everything else, because if you're giving credit to the wrong source, then you're going to make the wrong decisions about who's really driving value for your affiliate program.
100%.
Cool. And so, I mean, this is clearly a serious problem. How can brands learn more about these issues and see some of the findings that you've put together so far?
So we publish quarterly sort of reports on everything that we're seeing in the ecosystem for both sides of our business. So for merchants, like we're showing, revenue that we've recovered in the last 90 days across our merchant network, how many merchants we are touching. We share specific case studies for merchants that we do work with, outlining their success, especially new merchants that onboard with us within that quarter. So you can sort of see the first 90 days, and then we'll do like year in reviews for other merchants. And we publish a lot of that information. If they wanted to do their own, we obviously have bias towards our products and how we're approaching problems. If they wanted to do their own diligence, go to your website and install the extensions and see like how big of an issue it is. Go do a test checkout on your own website with the extensions installed and see what happens. So that's a really easy way to see what are consumers having on your website and what codes are leaking in there and get a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you've, like, your team's just seen some very shocking things with just how long it takes once you have these extensions installed to actually get a coupon code, which is crazy that users are waiting like a minute for it to go through the roulette wheel of all of the codes they shouldn't have.
Yep. And it's crazy how fast codes get in there. Like we've seen codes get added to extensions or they get picked up in 6 hours of them being released in the wild.
Cool. So there's another question from the audience. A couple of agencies promise growth, but they just enrolled our offers in coupon websites. Can you talk about agencies, like why agencies want to work with coupons so much?
I have my own views. I'm not an expert is like what I would say. So we haven't personally worked with any of these marketing agencies that do that. We don't have relationships with some of them. I think that's sort of how they're going to benchmark. I can't speak on whether or not it's been successful for people or why they would do it. From my perspective, any brand could go and put their coupons on one of these sites fairly easily. And I don't think you would need to outsource that as a product line, but everyone has their own internal operations. That's sort of how I can speak on it.
Yeah. And what I would say about it is just that for traditional affiliate networks, if you go to their marketplaces, their top affiliates are all going to be coupon related, like mostly coupon websites, these extensions, etc. And the reason for that, as mentioned, like because they're at the end of the funnel, they get most of the credit for everything else anyway. So all the other partners look like they drive less sales, and these coupon websites look like they drive more sales. So one, it's very easy to find these coupon websites and get them added to your program. And two, from the coupon websites perspective, they want to be promoting every brand under the sun because they're not paying to get users into their website for these brands. All they're doing is just adding a new page for your brand on their store and then adding the coupon code. So because it's so little work for them to launch with you, they can launch right away. So as an agency, you always want to show that your program's driving results as soon as possible. So you want to recruit affiliates that can start sending traffic and conversions as soon as possible. So it's just naturally in their best interest if they don't have any concerns or problems with coupon websites, to recruit them first, because they know they can get them live within a day or two. So that's just why so much of like the agency side is revolving around coupon websites. It's really about like how can they show their work as fast as possible. And if you don't care about coupon websites, like they look good doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And like our whole thing is transparency. So like we don't have anything that we hide from our customers in terms of like how we technically operate on the page, how we're sourcing data, how we validate our data. So I think it's with any partner, as long as they're transparent with why they're doing things for you or why they want to test certain initiatives and you're aligned with it, like, fire away, in my opinion.
I might disagree with that pretty strongly. I think it is fine, but for any affiliate program, like you need to have a coupon strategy as soon as possible. If you don't have one already, like you should be getting one launched, because as mentioned, you can't understand the value of your partners if you're working with coupon websites and you haven't set any defenses to evaluate the different qualities of coupon websites. Because again, only one person gets credit in a last click attribution situation, and that person is almost always going to be a coupon website. So every other affiliate will not look like they're driving much sales. They're not going to be making much money, and they're not going to really ever ramp up your program. So unless you figure out how you're going to handle coupons from the beginning, you really can't continue to scale an affiliate program past coupon websites. So it's not that you shouldn't work with coupons, it's that you shouldn't, whether it's yourself or your agency, like you need to make sure you have a strategy in place for how you're going to handle these types of partnerships if you want to be able to continually scale year after year. Because if your other affiliates aren't making money, they're not going to keep going. And actually, just as an aside, like this is one of the reasons why affiliate marketing got such a bad rap for a long time. In the very early days when I first started managing affiliate programs and stuff, there used to be lots of media buying affiliates who would buy on Google, buy on all these cheap media channels and drive traffic. And year after year, almost all of them died off because they would pay all this money for traffic to go to your website, and then that credit would be taken by a coupon website. So as more and more of their attribution got stolen, they couldn't make it work and they just stopped promoting entirely, or they switched to mobile where coupon websites weren't a problem. So there is a fundamental disruption field caused by coupon websites if you are not building defenses before, as soon as possible to handle them correctly.
That makes sense. And just so you know, like we're not experts on affiliate programs or how like best practices should operate or anything else. We're experts on securing user experiences on endpoint destinations. So how people get there, we can provide information and prevent certain things from happening. But in terms of best practices to set up these programs, we're definitely not experts there. We're not an affiliate company. Like we have no plans to become one. Yeah. We have no plans in selling data to affiliate companies to make them like more effective. All we're concerned about is validating and securing certain experiences across e-commerce and other channels.
And fortunately for you, by doing that, you are saving the e-commerce brand massive amounts of money, which is pretty important. So if someone wanted to get involved and do one of these 50-50 tests, like what is the process there?
Yeah, it's super simple. So you just sign up on our website and we're rolling out a public app in Shopify. If you're on the Shopify ecosystem, we've slowly been converting everyone over to it and now we're rolling it out. So you're just going to be able to add us from the Shopify app store if you are there. If not, you can come into Clean.io's website, sign up for a free trial, tell us if you want to do a 50-50 split test or just run it full tilt across your whole website. Team will reach out, send you a private invite to our app in the Shopify ecosystem. You install it to your page. It's good to go. We give you real-time reporting on everything going on. So we even narrow it down to the order ID in which we verified something happening and blocked it, what codes would have been used, what that financial damage was. So like, hey, we saw these 12 codes attempt to get used from this extension. It would have been this financial impact. Here's the revenue that we recovered for you on this shopping session. So you can go through and validate it on your own. And we just give you all the data that you would need to validate whether or not blocking these extensions would be fruitful for you. And I would say right now, over 95% of our customers that come in and run a 50-50 split test move forward with our solution. So we've had a ton of success educating people that, hey, you should be doing this once they actually enter the ecosystem. It's just taking that first dive and willing to be able to invest a cycle into making sure that this is going to work for you.
And so you said just go to clean.io. I know you have multiple products. Is it literally?
CleanCart is our e-commerce product that would be most fruitful for people with affiliate programs or that have coupons out in the wild.
Okay, so cleancart.io is the best place to sign up for this specific solution.
Clean.io/CleanCart.
Okay, great. And then there was another question. Does your platform show how much money you can save by implementing clean.io on average? Or is there any industry standard you've seen?
No, so we avoid, and we're going to come out with some reports like, hey, we've seen across like the fashion and clothing vertical, like here's average savings. But I would say we always just say run a test because there is no average. Like no two storefronts are the same. Everyone has a different marketing strategy. Everyone's data comes in different. Everyone has different customer profiles. So everyone's data is truly unique. We don't have two sites that look identical. Do we have data on average savings for certain categories? Absolutely. But I don't think that should be like a strong indicator of the exact results that you guys will see. So like when we set up with certain brands that have recovered, you know, $40, $50, $60,000 in a month, it wasn't, none of the things from the outside would have given us any indication that that would have been the results.
That's super interesting. So it does seem somewhat separated from just how much their overall like monthly gross sales is. Some are way more impacted because they gave coupons, say, in the wrong places and they just got picked up and now they've been losing out forever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's consumer web. So you have millions of people engaging with it. Every storefront has a different, like a luxury women's yoga clothing line is gonna, even if they're using tons of like influencer codes or discounts, their data is gonna be drastically different than a men's t-shirt company that has the same discounting strategy just because of their consumer profiles and how they interact everywhere else on the web and where things can matriculate there. So consumer is just so wild in terms of the broad data set that you can see that no two storefronts are the same. There are averages that we can, you know, bake together for people and we do give them out, but no two storefronts are the same. Even in the same like really close vertical of women's luxury clothing for athleisure, we'll work with a couple different storefronts that are all sort of like competing against each other, but the results are totally different.
And to that point, the participant mentioned that they had one coupon code that cost them $75,000 in a month. So yeah, this is important and it's worth testing and figuring out how to solve it. Cool. So thank you so much for your time. Is there any final takeaways or things that you would want to leave people with?
I think the biggest thing is it's super easy to actually just run a gut check on what you're doing. And if there is something malicious or unwanted happening on your sites, and to get a clear picture of how healthy your programs are and how much money you could be losing out there in the wild to places you might not have expected it. So whether it's testing clean or just installing the extensions yourself to see what user experience you have, and if you think that should be out there in the wild, it's super easy just to get like a health check out there in the wild. And that's what we really want to help merchants accomplish, is just to have visibility to what's going on in your checkout page. That's literally your financial health as a company, is what's happening on your checkout pages. So just be literate on what's going on and be aware of everything that is happening.
That's great advice. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I think this is a very important topic. And as mentioned, like with coupons, it's very difficult to learn these things. Most of the industry is so vested in coupons, like so much of, especially in the affiliate industry, revenue comes from coupons. So it's very hard for agencies and affiliate networks to be truly honest about how widespread this is an issue. So having someone who is from outside the industry and has come in to start solving these problems, it's very important because it needs to be talked about, and people need to understand that they can start taking actions that can massively improve their revenues.
Yeah, 100%. And we're here to help in any way we can. And we really like Everflow and what you guys have been doing and how proactive you've been about actually coming to us and trying to find ways to collaborate and share data and partner with mutual customers. So like as folks that are in the affiliate ecosystem, wanting to clean it up and really provide a lot of validation for what merchants are doing and what they're seeing with their affiliate programs, we're super pumped about it.
Likewise. All right. Thanks again and have a wonderful week.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Michael.